that this existed because I did not. I'm gonna be honest. So why is your job or what you do so important?
Well, essentially, lawyers don't investigate.
Lawyers don't investigate. That's mind blowing.
Right. No, I mean, they don't investigate. Their job is to talk to the judge, talk to the jury, cross-examine witnesses, do research and file motions. So essentially, if you get locked up on a homicide case, a lawyer's not going to go to the scene and do a crime scene canvas of all of the witnesses that was at the crime scene. You know, a lawyer's not going to go out and take pictures and videos of the crime scene. A lawyer is not going to investigate each and every witness that is coming forward for the government. Now, a lawyer will sit back and get discovery and read what the witnesses are saying and what they told law enforcement when they interviewed them. But they won't do an independent investigation of the facts. And that's generally what we do here at the detective agency.
Okay, you didn't said a lot. So first I'm going to back up a little bit. So you're saying that a lawyer does not investigate your case?
Again, a lawyer's job is to be a mouthpiece. Talk to the judge, talk to the jury, cross-examine witnesses, file motions, and do research. That's what their job is.
That's mind-blowing because I assumed that when I hire a lawyer, the part of the job is to investigate our case, you know, and get the facts. So, like, the first time you told me that, I was just like, what?
Well, generally, if you hire a lawyer, he may tell you he have a whole team, meaning he has a paralegal and he has an investigator that's going to investigate your case. I don't know that to be true all the time when lawyers tell you that. However, they may have an investigator and they may have an investigator that's going to do some investigation, but the lawyer generally gets all of the information that he puts in his motions, that he argues about. He gets that from an investigator. And in absence of an investigator, he gets it from law enforcement. Now, law enforcement found probable cause to arrest you. So you need your own crime scene pictures. You need your own crime scene videos. You need your own independent investigator to investigate and interview each and every witness that's involved in your case.
We have a question in the chat.
I mean, essentially, their job is to argue for your freedom in court. That's what their job is.
So we got a question. We're going to get to your question in the chat. I see the question up there. But you said, Paris, that a lawyer's main job is not to do the investigate. They're supposed to have somebody else do the investigation. But the key thing that you just said is they get some of their information from the people who are accusing you, which is like, wait a minute now, that's not good, because if you're being accused of a crime and your lawyer is getting some of that information to fight your case from the accusers, that don't look good. That don't look good at all.
Okay, so, well, let me tell you this. Every case has witnesses. They have government witnesses and they have defense witnesses. An investigator is going to investigate the government witnesses, and the investigator is going to go and find defense witnesses. So, and one of the other issues about witnesses is every witness sees something different.
Yeah.
So you can't rely on the government's witness to say that they saw something specific relating to the crime, because they may not have had their glasses on. It might have been too dark. They may have seen a red car when it was a green car. And another witness may say something opposite to what they said. So essentially, an investigator presents the facts to a lawyer for him to argue in court.
Gotcha. I'm going to go back to this question that someone posed. Let's see.
The question was, what's the difference between a private investigator and a criminal defense investigator? A criminal defense investigator specializes in criminal cases. A private investigator follows cheating wives, follows
Ah,
people that's frauding insurance companies, and things like that.
got it. Good. Did that answer your question? I see Raven posted a comment. She brought it up to her husband, but he kind of pushed it off, or they pushed it off. So if this is being brought up and people out there know about it, but it sounds like everyone's not educated on why you are necessary.
Well,
Because if people,
go ahead.
I was saying, because people are kind of brushing it off, I don't think they realize the significance of what you do, or how it can make or break a case, how it can make the difference between getting a stack of years versus, something that is more relevant to your case, or no years at all. I don't know. What's your take on it?
Well, the difference is this. Every time you hear a very good lawyer working on, let me use Ben Crump as an example. Ben Crump is at the forefront of everything that's going on right now. You see him on the news, every case, but there's an investigator behind Ben Crump that's finding all these witnesses, that's taking all of these crime scene pictures, that's obtaining all of these reports from law enforcement and getting all of these dash cam videos and these videos from the uniform that law enforcement have on. There's an investigator doing that. Because Ben Crump is not leaving his office to do that. He's going to write a letter, or he's going to send his investigator out. Simple as that. So, a lot of times people don't understand that the government can indict you on just words because it's a one-sided process. So you can indict an orange for being orange. But the issue is this. When you have a drug conspiracy case and you have 15,000 wiretaps, your lawyer is not going to sit in the jail with you because you got no bond and listen to those wiretaps. That's what your investigator got to do. And then the other issue is this. On the wiretap, law enforcement might say, well, your client said to somebody, bring me 5 t-shirts. Now, the person he said that to may have been in a t-shirt store. But law enforcement alleging is that it's 5 keys of cocaine, or 5 keys of heroin, or 5 pounds of this, or 5 ounces of that. So an investigator would need to go to the store. Do you remember when this guy was in here and he bought 5 t-shirts? Yeah, how did he pay? Oh, he paid with a credit card. Oh, let me get that credit card receipt. You need to come to court to be a witness for him because law enforcement is alleging something different.
Uh-huh.
No problem. But guess what? The police ain't going to do that because the police is already saying that it's drugs.
So it doesn't take much to bring an indictment on somebody, but
oh, not at all. Not at all.
It sounds like it takes a whole lot to
get out of it.
To get out of it, yeah.
Get out of it, but it's easy to get in.
Yeah.
It's easy to.
Are you able to give an example of how you've helped somebody? Is that possible? Or have you turned a case around? Without
okay, yeah, I can.
Without giving names or something.
I'm not gonna give no names. I had a case in Dayton, Ohio. My client was charged in a drug conspiracy case with 10 people. When I met my client, he told me that he only knew one person in the case, and he wasn't a drug dealer, and he didn't have anything to do with the drugs in the case that law enforcement was alleging he was involved with. By the time the end of the case came, my investigation revealed that the DEA's confidential informant recruited his cousin to impersonate my client on the wiretap. And as a result of that investigation, my client came out with a very favorable result when he was facing life in prison.
Wow. From life in prison to you like that, you're out here changing lives.
Yes.
That's the difference between ripping a family apart and being home in maybe a couple years versus never seeing the light of day again.
Yes.
That is imperative. And I feel like so many people And me personally, because I didn't know that I didn't know I had this option. I feel like so many people go the route of just depending on the lawyer and don't realize that there's other services out there that can help with their case and get all the facts, because all the facts being presented might not actually be for face value.
Well, you know, you hear this every day of your life all day. What you say can and will be used against you. And ignorance is no excuse of the law.
Mm.
So you have to be prepared and know that, you know, if you get into a situation, first of all, you should be aware that if you need to hire a lawyer, how to go find one. I mean, all day long, there's criminal cases going on in court. You can go to the courthouse and sit in and watch whatever lawyer you want to watch. And you can make a determination, wow, if I get in trouble, you know, I'm going to need him. As opposed to you get locked up, you in jail, you don't know who to hire, and everybody is telling you to hire this lawyer. You know, and you don't know this lawyer from Adam and Eve, but everybody is saying he's good. When you had the opportunity to find your own lawyer, when you had your opportunity to find your own criminal defense investigator. Now, I'm not saying lawyers that's referred aren't good. I'm just saying you have the opportunity to pick and choose which lawyer you want for yourself if something happens. And oftentimes, people don't do that.
Are you referring to meaning they go with one that's recommended, or are you referring to some have to use like a public defender?
Well, I'm talking about paid lawyers.
Paid lawyers.
Yes, public defenders, you know, they're overworked and underpaid.
Yeah. So, question for you. Would a lawyer, is it frowned upon in the community of, I guess if you're a lawyer, that they feel like they're being stepped on if the client chooses to hire an investigator? Like, because in the comments, one person was saying that the lawyer did not kind of brushed it off. Is there like a stigma? Not a stigma, but kind of like a feeling that the lawyer's like, I got this. I don't need to, you don't need to hire anybody else kind of feeling or pressure?
Let me give you this example. That would be just like me saying, you don't need a lawyer to represent you in court. All you need is my investigation.
Mm-hmm.
So in essence, a lawyer is really only as good as his investigator. So if you hire a lawyer that doesn't retain the services of an investigator, you have to take into account what his skill level is.
Mm-hmm.
Because he can't always do everything that's going to be needed on your criminal case if you need an investigator.
Yeah.
There's no way he can take pictures from the defense perspective. There's no way he can go out and interview a witness, because once he interviews a witness without an investigator, he becomes a witness and he can't be your lawyer.
What?
Yeah, a lawyer can't interview somebody, right? Okay, let me give an example. Let's say a lawyer went to the crime scene and interviewed this person by himself. And the person said, yeah, I saw your client. Your client was driving a red car. Right?
Uh-huh.
And then when that person gets on the stand, the government says, were you interviewed by this lawyer? Yeah. What did you tell the lawyer? Well, I told him he was his client was driving a red car, but I was scared because he was interviewing me, and the client was really driving a green car, and he owned a green car, and then they put all the evidence in that his car is green, and the lawyer can't get on the stand and testify that he said that to him, because that will make himself a witness.
Oh.
That's why he needs a buffer, which is an investigator. Because the investigator could have got on the stand and said, no, on this date and this time, this is what you told me. So one of these times you lied. You either lied to me or you lied to law enforcement. So then the lawyer gets to argue, well, I don't think we should believe anything this witness is saying. But absent that investigator, what's the lawyer's argument? He doesn't have an argument because he don't have a witness to contradict what the witness told law enforcement.
Mm-hmm. So, wow, I wish I knew this information before. That's exactly what I said the first time I talked to Paris. Man, I was blown. I was like, where were you when I needed you? So, Paris, I feel like when someone's looking to hire a lawyer, like they need to ask, do you have an investigator? Who is your investigator? Do you feel like we need to inquire? Like, because I don't know how to look for a lawyer. Like, how do you look for a lawyer, and how do you know that they have a proper investigation team?
Let me give you an example. When you hire a lawyer, before you hire a lawyer, you need to ask that lawyer to send his investigator over to you at the jail to see you.
Wow.
Because the jail, listen to this, because lawyers hate to go to the jail. They're always in court. They're always busy. They're always in hearings. The judge is always calling them at the last minute. And then when they set up a time to see you at the jail, something happens. They don't see you. You get disappointed. But if you got an investigator, you can call your investigator. Any question you got for the lawyer, the investigator can call the lawyer at home at night and say, yeah, man, your client want to know this. And they can give the investigator the answer. The investigator can go to the jail to see him first thing the next morning with no problem. Answer his question, make him feel good. Also, the investigator can investigate the case, and as the case is being investigated and the investigator is sharing the information with the client can give you insight on who lives at that house in that picture, whose car is in that picture, any type of information from the crime scene, because the client knows.
Yeah. So, when you're working with a lawyer is pretty much inaccessible. I'm gonna tell you. It ain't never been a day that I've tried to reach out to a regular lawyer, a PD, anybody, and I've gotten a phone call back or actually gotten a chance. It's very rare, at least in my perspective. And I feel like other people.
Well,
is the
investigator
more accessible?
That's because they're busy all the time.
Yeah, which is hard on our end, because it feels like we're not being heard. So, like, say if I hire you as an investigator, is it easier to get in contact with you and have you speak to, like, the person who to speak to the one who's being indicted? Like,
of course.
Yes, so that's good to know.
Yeah.
Because, because it just, the whole journey feels like, you're paying somebody to do something, but you don't ever have access to them. And it's like, now you're telling me that they don't actually do, so there may be some lawyers who don't hire investigators and don't do due diligence, when
right.
You could be hiring somebody who their sole purpose is to investigate the facts, question the witnesses, get all the information on your behalf for you, the person who's being accused, as opposed to getting the information directly from the accuser, which it could be the state or the federal government.
Let me give you some more information. If you decide to hire a lawyer, what you need to do as soon as you get discovery is ask your lawyer to give you a clean, full copy of the discovery and send it home.
Okay, you keep using the word discovery. Explain what a discovery is.
The discovery is law enforcement's investigation on your case, and all of the witnesses they investigated and everything they said and all of the wiretaps they did and all of the undercover buys they did and all of the crime scene videos, pictures, and interviews that they did. Essentially, discovery is everything that they did to investigate your case to find probable cause.
To indict you, basically.
Right. So
got you.
You need a full, clean copy of your discovery, and you need to send it home. Because in the event that you get convicted at trial, if you decide to go to trial, when you lodge an appeal on your case, your appellate lawyer only works from the record. And the record is what happened at trial. But there's something called a post-conviction investigation, where you can hire a criminal defense investigator to do a post-conviction investigation, but that investigator would have to work from the discovery, not the record. Because that investigator would need to investigate law enforcement's investigation.
Can you still get the discovery after you've already had a trial?
If your trial lawyer gives it to you, yes.
What do you mean if? The trial lawyer is the accuser? The trial lawyer is the person who's accusing you or indicting you?
No, the trial lawyer is the person you hired to work for you.
Okay, thanks for breaking down the vocabulary.
But oftentimes, if you get convicted, your relationship breaks down with your trial lawyer. So while your relationship is good, when you get the discovery, you need to get a clean copy of your discovery, a full copy of your discovery, and send it home, just in case. Not saying something bad is going to happen, but in the event that it does, you'll have a clean copy of the discovery to work from. Because oftentimes law enforcement officers get on the stand and say things contrary to what's in the discovery. And you don't find that out until after you read their testimony and you're going through an appeal. And if you got the documents and the reports that they provided in the discovery, you can have something to challenge them with.
So what if you have a public defender? How can you get the discovery?
Ask the public defender to give you a copy of the discovery.
But what if you can't access the public defender? Because it's hard to reach out. They don't ever...
He got to come see you one day. He going to come see you and say, we got the discovery.
Oh, okay. So from the perspective of the person who's locked up, they have to ask for the discovery. So as a wife, can I ask for a discovery?
I mean, if you...
Second. Oh, we lost you for a second there.
Oh, okay. If your spouse is locked up, I'm sure your spouse can direct the attorney to give you a full copy of the discovery.
Okay.
It's no problem. It's no problem for that to happen unless the judge puts an order on not sharing the discovery with people.
As a wife, can I ask for it, or does the person who's locked up have to do it?
I mean, you can ask. It depends on your relationship with the attorney.
Oh.
It really depends on your relationship with the attorney. And if the judge signed an order not to disseminate the discovery.
But why would a judge do that?
Because some of the witnesses their life may be in danger. That's one reason. One of the other reasons is some of the other people that's inside the discovery is not locked up yet, and they don't want to divulge how deep their investigation is going to go inside of the case. And if you get the discovery, you may disseminate the discovery to your friends that's not locked up, and then they may go do something to somebody or something like that.
Hold on a second. I need y'all to go upstairs. Go upstairs. Boom, 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 boom. Close the door. Thank you. The kid's trying to run through all this. Okay, what's the question here? Boom, boom, boom. Did you see that question? My husband's lawyer basically didn't fight his case now. We are doing an appeal. What would you recommend I have all my husband's paperwork? I think you kind of answered that question, right?
Yeah, you need to ask for a full copy of his discovery. And the other thing is sometimes lawyers provide the appellate lawyer with the discovery, but oftentimes they don't.
What's appellate lawyer?
If you get found guilty, then you have, depending on the jurisdiction, 3 to 5 days, or some jurisdictions are 10 days, to file a notice of appeal. And once you file a notice of appeal, you'll either hire an appellate lawyer, or an appellate lawyer will be appointed to you once you file your notice of appeal.
Is that because you can't use the same lawyer? You have to use a different lawyer than your trial lawyer when you appeal?
No, I mean, you can, if you hired your trial lawyer and you feel comfortable with him, you can still use him for the appeal.
But you always get assigned an appellate lawyer.
No, you can use him for the appeal, but oftentimes you feel like your lawyer done something wrong at trial.
Oh, okay.
So one of the things that you can file against your lawyer is a 2255, which is the ineffective assistance of counsel motion, in appellate motion, to say, well, my lawyer did this wrong and my lawyer did that wrong, and because of that, I got convicted.
Paris, when are you gonna write your book so we can get all this get this information out? Yeah, I'm ready. So, can you say it again? What's the name of the form you got to file to do that? The 20 what? That's
a 2255, ineffective assistance of counsel motion.
Y'all get that out there? And who do you do that? Where do you file that
at? At the appellate court.
At the appellate court. All right. Yeah, you laughing, but man, we need to know this stuff.
No, I'm saying, you file that. I mean, there's different stages of the appeal that you go through. So one of the first stages is the 2255.
2255. Y'all got that? 2255. You trying to do an appeal? Remember that. Let's see here. I'm trying to check out to see if there's any. Paris is brilliant. We know this. Yes. Paris is brilliant. There you go. Got a little compliment out there. Thank you for your knowledge. Thank you, Adrian. He takes all compliments. All right, checking for. I didn't see any other questions. So, if you're just joining us, this is Paris, and Paris is a criminal defense investigator. So when I first met Paris, and we had an interesting conversation, he was telling me all about what really is what a lawyer does and what what his main job is. But a lawyer is supposed to be hiring an investigative team, an investigator to help get the facts on the case, because the lawyer is going to be getting some of his facts from the people who are accusing the client, which is crazy, right? So Paris here is an investigator that helps really to dig into the case and find the facts to make sure that what is being told or what's being said is actually true. And I didn't realize that a person like this existed, so I was just like, we got to talk about this. So if you're just joining in, this is what we're talking about here, and we're talking about how his services can help make the difference between somebody serving a life in prison versus somebody being home out in 3-5 years. And what we're really talking about here is saving families and preventing the destruction of families. Like, this is huge. It really is huge, because your services are needed in so many ways, and the education and information that you are dropping is like, it was all new to me. So I'm hoping this has been helpful for people out here. Okay, when you do appeal, would you recommend to do investigator also, or would it be too late? Exactly, he's dropping so much knowledge. Yes, he is. Did you catch that, Paris, the question?
Yeah, I got it. I think it's going to depend on how much time the person got from the judge when they got convicted. Mm-hmm. And if it's worth lodging, an investigation into the facts of the case. I mean, it really would depend on the facts of the case, as well as what the person's sentence was. Okay. But I would always say it's always good to hire a criminal defense investigator, specifically during post-convictions, because you can be charged with life in prison. And during a post-conviction investigation, a criminal defense investigator may find some newly discovered evidence that can turn your case around.
Awesome.
And get you back into the trial court.
Wow. Wow. Man, Paris, I was trying to get as many people up on here as possible. They need to hear this. They need to hear this. This is awesome. This is awesome. So just to recap, guys, if you're just dropping in on us, Paris mentioned that you need to ask the lawyer for the discovery. He said a clean discovery. I think that's how he described it.
Just a full
What
copy.
Is it?
A full copy. Yes.
Why do you say a full copy? I mean, will people try to give you like a half version of discovery?
Well, discovery consists of a lot of information and documents, police-generated documents. So let me give you an example. Today, was it today? It was either today or yesterday, a gentleman called me and said he wanted to hire me so I could do some work on his case. And I asked him, did he have a full copy of his discovery? And he was like, well, I don't know if I got a full copy. How would I know that?
Yeah, how do you know?
And I said, well, when the government gives discovery, they gives discovery in a letter that tells you everything that they're giving you. And if they're giving you supplemental discovery, that's another letter saying this is supplemental discovery from the first batch of discovery we gave you. So I told him if he get a copy of that letter from the government, he would know if he has a full copy of his discovery. Because if something is missing that's not on the letter, then he'll know that he doesn't have a full copy. And I said the reason why the government gives you that letter is because in the middle of trial, when your lawyer argues, Judge, they never gave us this information, they can pull that letter out and say, this is the letter we gave it to him on, and here it is in our letter what we gave him. And he never disputed it 5 months ago when we gave it to him that he didn't receive it.
So you got to make sure you're reading your documents.
Yes. And one of the things the criminal defense investigator also does is go over every page of discovery, every telephone conversation, every video, every document, every lab report, because lawyers don't have time to sit in the jail and do that. That's why a criminal defense investigator is essential, because while you're sitting in jail doing whatever you're doing, you need to be focusing on your case, because you got to remember one thing. You know this case better than anybody because this is your life. So if you got a criminal defense investigator, you can explain to him what the lies is and what law enforcement embellished inside of these documents and where to go to get the truth. But if you're sitting in jail and you don't have no investigator and your lawyer coming to you in the 11th hour and you ain't seen no discovery and all he said is, I think they got you, you need to lay down. He ain't done no investigation. Yeah, he haven't done any investigation, so you don't really know anything except what he telling you, and he haven't done no investigation. But more importantly, you don't even know if law enforcement is telling the truth or not.
Thank you.
Because your lawyer is not challenging them. And
because he's probably got a lot of work to do, right? You said they're overworked, not overworked, but they got a lot to do.
Yeah.
Wow. So, and you hear all the time, like, all right, I think you might need to take this plea, and he didn't even look over all the evidence. He didn't sit down and listen to all the tapes, didn't look at all the videos. He didn't put in that work to determine whether or not really you should take the plea or whether it's better for you to take this, whatever it may be.
Well, let me give you another example. If there's a wiretap on the case and it's a multi-co-defendant, let's say a multi-co-defendant drug conspiracy case, and it's got 15,000 wiretaps. In the hood, your lawyer don't talk like you. So how does he understand what you're saying on the telephone?
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
He don't talk like you. Neither do those agents. So what those agents are doing, they're just speculating what you're saying and what it means what you're saying. But it's not necessarily the truth.
Interesting. Somebody said that discovery was denied. Why was, oh, but you said there's reasons why discoveries get denied.
Right. Discovery may have been denied to the client for dissemination. However, the lawyer could have took the discovery to the client, or the lawyer could have hired a criminal defense investigator to take the discovery to the client. And the client could have looked at every page of the discovery, but no problem.
Guys, go upstairs. I did not call you. Go upstairs, please. Let's see here. Does the government lie on the convicted?
Does the government lie? Well, you know, the issue with respect to being disingenuous on the government, or if they're telling the truth, is the facts. It depends on the facts of the case. And if you can find some witnesses to contradict specifically what the government witnesses are saying. So you can't necessarily say they lie, but, you know, if it's a, for instance, if it's a drug enforcement agent or an FBI agent and they hear your name all the time because they lock up all of these people and all these people are talking about you and your name is ringing in the street, then they may think that you are involved in some type of criminal activity.
They just assume.
Yes. So then they may try to put a case on you by any means necessary to get you off the street.
Let's see here. Love to see other Black-owned business. What? Let's see. Wait a minute. I lost it. See other Black-owned businesses. I'm sure our firm will be working with you at some point in the future. Well, who's your firm? Somebody, what's your business?
Well,
Convictions and politics working together.
Our number at the detective agency is 877-202.
Oh, wait a minute. Everybody get their pencils out. Hold on. Get your pencil. Hold on, Paris. Hold on. If you want Paris's phone number, go get your piece of pencil. Give him a couple seconds. All right, y'all ready to take his phone number down? Go ahead, Paris.
Okay, our number at my agency, which is named the Detective Agency, I can be reached at 877-202-8787. And we provide a nationwide service. That number again is 877-202-8787.
Oh, man. Someone told me to pin the phone number, but I don't know how to do that. How do I pin the phone number?
I don't know.
I know, yeah, I don't know how to pin the phone number. If anyone who's watching knows how to do that. Paris, where are you located? Somebody wants to know.
I have an office in Washington, D.C., Ohio, and Miami, Florida. But we do we do work all over the United States.
Okay. Because you travel.
Yes.
Paris travels. All right, Paris, give me your phone number again. I'm going to put it in the comments and see if there's somewhere I can pin it. What's your phone number again?
Okay. The detective agency, our number is 877-202-8787.
Hold on. 877
202
202
8787.
8787. Oh, wait a minute.
And yes, I do work in Louisiana. I just read that comment.
Okay, I'm trying to see if I can pin this. I don't know how. I've never pinned anything before. All right, it's on the screen though. If someone could tell me how to pin the comment, that'd be helpful. Because I do not know how to do it. All right, somebody else retyped it back in there. Awesome. All right, are there any more questions? Because we can go on. Paris can talk all day about this kind of stuff. Does anyone have any questions or concerns? Are you going through an appeal? Are you about to go to trial? We're going to take a couple more questions. California.
Yes, California. We do work in California also.
Boom, take Paris's number down. Oh, she said hold it. Okay, thanks. Let me see. Hold it. That is not working. I gotta figure out how to pin these comments down. All right, I'll have to look that up at some other point. All right, so let's recap before we head out. Let's recap with the main points that they need to do. What are your main tips for people who might have hopped on late? What are the top things that they need to do, and why what you do is so important?
The main thing that they need to do is to retain the services of a criminal defense investigator if them or one of their loved ones are charged with a criminal case in state or federal court. One of the other things they need to do is to make sure that they get a full copy of the discovery and send it home, because in the event that someone gets convicted and they want to lodge an appeal, then they can do that by hiring a criminal defense investigator to do a post-conviction investigation, and he can work from that discovery.
And what types of evidence are you able to uncover that aren't typically turned over during discovery?
Just to say one is the identity of the confidential informant.
Wait a minute. What types of evidence? I'm trying to understand the question. I know you got it. What types of evidence are you able to uncover that aren't typically turned over during discovery? And what did you say?
The identity of the confidential informant.
The identity. But they don't really need that, though, I guess.
You do need that because they don't tell you who the who the confidential informant is. They only tell you what they said.
Is that for safeguarding the person who said it?
Yeah, and for other reasons also.
Okay. Can investigators interview police? Good question.
You can interview police officers, however, they probably won't talk to you.
Really? Oh no.
And
that's probably the main. You're right.
No police officers gonna share no information about no case that they investigated with a criminal defense investigator.
I know. But it's like those are the people you want to investigate because they're the ones trying to put you down. Oh man. Do you only handle issues related to criminal law?
No. We do civil work also.
Oh, didn't know that. Okay. Thank you for that question. Bonita, you laughing at me? Do you work with in-prison cases? I want to do a petition for my husband.
I do work with cases for clients that are in prison. However, I don't do petitions. They're going to need to get in. I don't know what specific petition they're making reference to, but they may want to file some type of appeal or petition for something. But I don't know what that is. I don't know what specific issue that she's talking about.
Okay. All right. So, one last thing. So you already told us what they need to do. What was I going to say? What did you say the difference? You are a difference maker. So hiring you is the difference between what and what. And we're going to end it there. So
hiring a criminal defense investigator is the difference between getting. Hello?
Oh, shucks.
Still here?
Okay, you're back on. Yeah, go ahead and answer the question. Sorry. I think we lost you for a second.
Okay. Hiring a criminal defense investigator is the difference between acquittal and getting convicted.
And to me, that means having my man home.
That's right. Right. That's right.
Having a father here for the kids. That's what that really means, right?
Yes.
So awesome. All right, Paris, I'm gonna let you go because I know you got other things to do. You got work to do.
Okay,
but
thank you very much. And if anybody needs me, my number is on the drop-down comment menu. They can give me a call, and I can answer any questions that they have.
You want to speak your number one more time?
877-202-8787.
Awesome. All right. So I'm going to stay on here just for another minute. But Paris, if you got to go, I'm going to stay on here in case people need to scroll up and get your phone number. So okay. Paris, thank you so much for hopping on. I really appreciate it because what you have explained is very, very important. And like one person said, I wish I would have known you before we went to trial because, you know, like you said, it could have made a difference between getting more or less time. You know, you're keeping families together and helping people to, you know, fight for their case. So I appreciate that. And thank you for all the information. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Paris. All right, guys, I'm going to stay on here for a little longer if Paris has to go. But if you guys need Paris's phone number, Paris does travel. And so Paris is a criminal defense investigator, if anyone showed up on here late. So he will investigate your loved one's case on your behalf. As he said, just to kind of recap, Paris was saying that you know, sometimes your lawyer doesn't have time to investigate your case, and you need to make sure when you're hiring a lawyer that you are making sure that lawyer has a good investigator. So as Paris was saying, you need to make sure you have an investigator on your team. And it's, you know, I didn't know all this information when I went through the case with my husband first. So if you want Paris's information and you just joined, please scroll up. Paris, I can't figure out how to pin the number, so I got to learn how to do that. But scroll up into the comments, and I posted Paris's number. Paris does travel. He will go and meet you to speak to whoever he needs to speak to do his investigation. So he is national. I think he's traveling right now to help somebody. But as Paris was saying, he is investigating the facts of why you are being indicted and making sure that those facts are legit and making sure what's being said about the accused is actually true, or they misheard something, or they're embellishing, or, you know, putting 20 on 4. I mean, you know, they're going a little overboard with their evidence, because it doesn't take much to get indicted, but it takes a lot to get out of a case. So I appreciate Paris being on here. So if you guys missed the phone number or you want more information from Paris, you are welcome to reach out to me as well, and I'll connect you too. All right. So thank you guys. I appreciate you coming on. I hope this information was a blessing to you, and hopefully it'll help if you're about to go through trial or you're going through appeal, because he can help both. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys.